His name is Tosin. His story started like most of our stories. Before Tosin founded Moniepoint, he was a staff at Interswitch. Then one day, he suddenly decided to leave Interswitch. He wants to build his own company. At first, it was a good decision, but later on, it looked as if it was a mistake. He shouldn't have left Interswitch the time he did. But Tosin kept the hopes high, and one day, he got a deal with Sterling Bank. Sterling Bank wanted to build a mobile app, and they needed a professional to handle that. They contacted Tosin and offered him a deal. The deal was juicy for both Tosin and Sterling Bank. You will help us build the app, and we will give you 20% of every profit we make from the app transactions. Tosin grabbed the opportunity with two hands. But something happened along the way, and Tosin felt betrayed. He had invested a lot in this project, and when it was time to pay, the agreement changed. With that disappointment, he left the contract and decided to start a business of his own. That was how Moniepoint came into the picture.
My name is Tosin Enyolorada. I am the founder of Moniepoint.
His journey to founding Moniepoint wasn't an easy one. At some point, it looked as if his village people never wanted him to get that far in life. From the disappointment he had after building the Sterling Bank mobile app, to the reason why he left Interswitch, and down to how Moniepoint was almost crumbled after the first 2 months it was launched. We will discuss all this in this video.
Imagine a small company losing up to 250 million Naira. And also not just losing it, realizing that the way you have to fix it, you have to shut down your platform for 3 weeks plus. Like, how can you tell somebody who is depending on you that you are going to shut down and he's going to need to use somebody else for 3 weeks? It's like death. Just imagine right now that the bank you're keeping your money shuts down.
Back to when Tosin was in Obafemi Awolowo University. That was when he began creating solutions for students. Tosin would go meeting other students, offering to help them solve their project needs in exchange for some cash. He was building software and hardware projects for these final year students, especially those in computer science and electrical and electronics departments. He was doing all this while studying to pass. It affected his grades somehow because he left academics for a while and focused more on the money. But that later paid off. After Tosin left the university, it was one of those students he helped to build a project work back in school that helped him get a job at Interswitch. At Interswitch, Tosin was employed as a software developer. That was in 2009. He later rose to become a product manager. It was at Interswitch that he met a guy called Felix Ike. You will get to know who Felix is later on in this video. Tosin went on and spent 5 years at Interswitch, but one day, he suddenly decided to leave. He felt that the amount of work he was putting in at Interswitch was not properly appreciated. Before then, Tosin had discovered an easier way to program different POS systems using the same markup language. He felt that this discovery would prove profitable for the company, and he wanted to build it into something special. But he later figured out that the management at Interswitch may not appreciate the work and the effort in what he wants to create. This was when the idea to start a new company came up. Alongside Felix, they decided to build a company that will provide software solutions to banks.
And what we're building were software solutions for banks. So it's standard projects. You go to a bank, they give you a project. Those days they will give us mobile applications to build. So like Sterling Bank, we built their mobile app. Unity Bank, then most of the banks use our merchant acquiring solution and corporate banking. Zenith Bank, First Bank, Providors, almost all of them.
They called their new company TeamApt. That was in 2015. At this point, you might be wondering, how did Introvert become part of this Tosin story? Because the title of this video said, The Introvert That Owns Moniepoint. Well, Tosin is not just a normal introvert. This lifestyle helped him to get where he is. When he was younger, as one of those kids raised in Ibadan, his mother never wanted them to play around with other kids. That was when Tosin developed the likeness to what he is doing today.
Because I didn't have a lot of toys, I used to build toys and those car things that you just be pulling around and be running around the streets. But my mom did not allow me to run with all the kids on the street, so I built it in our compound. I used to run around, and I think that's where some of the early days of building things and enjoying the result of it. These days, of course, we are building much more bigger things.
So he started building technology at a very young age. Today, he is providing financial solutions to millions of Nigerians. According to him, Moniepoint processes about 20 million transactions every day. But before they got to what Moniepoint is today, remember I told you they called their company TeamApt. So with TeamApt, they were majorly interested in helping banks to build software solutions. That was when they got the Sterling Bank deal. Tosin thought the deal would change their lives forever.
It was a revenue sharing arrangement where we were supposed to take 20% of what the bank was making. And it was a good model because it was a recurring revenue model, not like a contract model. And when the revenue started coming in, something like 5 million naira per month or 6 million naira per month, then the bank now said that, why should we be paying these boys this kind of money? It is too much. It will soon become 10 million, it will soon become 15 million. That's after we have killed ourselves. I lost tons of engineers to that project. That was the first time I cried in entrepreneurship.
Then, the bank decided to make some adjustments to the agreement. According to Tosin, they now came up with a new offer.
And they were not like, it's too much, we can't pay you. You need to take an arrangement where it's no longer 20%, but it's 20% up to say maybe 8 million naira per month. When it's above that, it becomes 10, it becomes 15. Like, is this what we signed up for? And we had a contract. And the threat was that if you don't take it, we're going to build our own. You know what? And they said, you know why? Because we own the customer. You are just a technical person. And then I was like, and when they gave me that information was the second time I cried.
So, Tosin and his team decided to move on. That was in 2019. They concluded to start their own banking solution. They created two platforms, Monify and Moniepoint. Monify is a payment gateway like Flutterwave and Paystack, which companies and brands use to receive money from customers. And Moniepoint is what you know it to be today. Both platforms were still under the same brand, TeamApt. But by 2023, after Moniepoint became more popular than they thought it would, they decided to change the whole company's name from TeamApt to Moniepoint. The first few months of Moniepoint in 2019 was not that easy. At some point, the company almost crumbled just after 2 months that it was launched.
In the very, very early days of Moniepoint, after I think month 1 or 2 of launch, I realized that we had a platform error that was making us lose money. You should understand that those were early beginnings, and imagine a small company losing up to 250 million naira. And also not just losing it, realizing that the way you have to fix it, you have to shut down your platform for 3 weeks plus. Like, how can you tell somebody who is depending on you that you are going to shut down and he's going to need to use somebody else for 3 weeks? It's like death. Just imagine right now that the bank you're keeping your money shuts down and locks your money. That's what it looked like for many of our businesses. The money that they use for running their business, we had held it down. They can't even access it. A lot of them even came to the office very visibly angry that they are going to shut us down. It was a very, very, very painful moment for me because I knew what it meant. My business was not in the best shape and I was causing problems for other people's businesses.
But in all these, Moniepoint still came out stronger. The biggest win Moniepoint enjoyed was when the Nigerian government announced the withdrawal of old Naira notes and introduced new ones. That was in March 2023, when, as part of the effort to strengthen the drive to adopt a cashless policy, combat inflation, and as a way to prevent fraud, the Central Bank of Nigeria started to redesign the Nigerian Naira. This led to scarcity of cash and increased people's reliance on digital payments. Then, Nigerians mostly made use of debit cards and transfers for payments. That opportunity gave Moniepoint the growth they were hoping for. And by May 2023, Moniepoint was listed by the Financial Times as the second fastest growing company in Africa. Remember when I told you about Felix Ike? Felix is the co-founder of Moniepoint. He is one of those who believed in Tosin and accepted to resign from Interswitch with him. Today, both of them are living the lives of their dream. Moniepoint currently processes over 800 million transactions monthly, and the value of these monthly transactions are estimated to be a bit above $17 billion. And it is reported that 2 of every 3 adults in Nigeria has made payments through a Moniepoint terminal at least once in a month. The story of Moniepoint is not just a business journey. It is also a business lesson that every business-minded person needs to know. I believe you learned something new. At this point, why not click that subscribe button and like the video too? Thank you for being there.